the CPA is here. Let's go, let's go. Yeah.
We made it to Kansas! Mwah.
JJ the CPA is here, been doing this for years. We bout to get your money right, you got nothing to fear. From the burbs to the ghetto, put the pedal to the metal. I got my mind on money, kinda like Gordon Gecko. It's best to pay attention, you know that I love flexing. Cruising in the Jag.
Alright, I got a question for you. So, if you were on a reality show as the participant, as the business, right? Because you've owned several businesses. What would you want out of this visit, like a physical visit?
Knowledge.
But it'd be in person.
Yeah, I would just want to get as much knowledge as I could from the person, the expert who was coming to see me.
JJ the CPA here. So we are in a real live situation with Gwen, Rob, Paula, and Al. And we are here in Wichita. We're talking to this wonderful family-owned business about their toy store. But what we're talking about is social media. We're talking about how do you track your inventory. We're talking about numbers. We're talking about how do you extract information from the sales that you've got to then make sure that you're repurposing anything it is that you're doing and buying or creating. So very, very excited to be here in Wichita, Kansas in a real live, look at this, Amanda's doing a 360, real live toy store. With these numbers that we're talking about with the financials and QuickBooks and all that, coming out of what we're getting ready to come out of, you know, with the crisis and you know, the numbers and things being different. I mean, you really need to know all that from a big picture. You want your balance sheet to be the date that the books are most up to date. Okay, so they're not up to date through May 24th. So
right.
We're always going to see numbers that wouldn't make any sense. The beauty that you have is the POS system, right? Very, very, very valuable in terms of sales and history sales and your inventory. So really good job on that in the sense of for as amount of inventory you have, and you have a wonderful store, but then when it comes to the management of the business of how are we going to manage things with this as we're going up. But basically you're the two biggest things for you is what did I have in the bank and what was my inventory? Right? Seems obvious. We do need to get this to where this is as much in real time as it is your inventory system.
Right.
Which is very easy because what you had told me the last time is that, you know, in a pinch you're going in and you're printing out checks, right? So then the only difference is either someone who's working on the books is coming a little more routinely.
Right.
And the reason is that you would want your checks printed, which more I'm saying, you'd want your checks in there sooner rather than later.
Sure.
Okay. Then the only other missing piece here is that you would just want your deposits in as they're happening.
Right.
Okay. So the fact that you have a really good POS system and you're able to look at your sales, all we really care about in QuickBooks is then the total sales. I mean, that's all that's being tracked anyways.
Right.
With QuickBooks, knowing then the overall picture, because you really just have two numbers, you know, which are the most important numbers, okay? Which is what are my sales and what's my cost of goods sold, which is your inventory. If you watch any of my videos, they're like the two biggest numbers, right? But in terms of your other costs and cash flow and knowing when things are coming due and when things have to get paid, we're putting together a system that's going to allow you to manage that better, to less get slapped upside the head with, well, crap, I didn't realize it was this much and then this much coming in November and December, because there's a lot of industries that they are getting affected right now, and you are based on your gross. But where you're going to have an effect as well is when the orders that you're making that you normally don't pay till September, October, November, December, whatever. All I'm getting at is that for a business owner that wants to look at their bank balance every morning, that's great. Go ahead and do it. But it's not going to ever be as accurate as this, because this includes anything that's outstanding in essence. So when you're trying to make decisions on what bills we need to get paid, it sounds like you are the type of business that kind of always has enough to just pay your bills, which is awesome. Not every business is that way. But when you're looking at that balance, you'll be able to maybe more strategically pay things in terms of the timing and the tracking. So I digress. Down here, when you're looking at your balance sheet, is just here's your assets in one day in time. Right? So your cash, your inventory, and your fixed assets. More what I'm telling you. Well, we can fix that stuff anytime we want. Right? Your cash is really what's important here. So more looking at QuickBooks is like the good old-fashioned check register that we all had once upon a time, where you flip it and you just record and to who and the dollar amount. And the only difference here is that you're recording what account it's going to, office supplies, purchases, or whatever.
So check this out. I'm in the month of June. This pen is in the month of May. This paper's in the month of April. And I'm trying to write some stuff. I have no paper and I have no pen. Why? Because if I were to extrapolate this, if this is my bank statement and this is my QuickBooks and I'm trying to make decisions right now, I'm trying to write something down, if you're following me, how can I get anything accomplished? Because in real time, I need a pen and I need paper all at the same time.
So with clients, when I'm pulling it all together, we're looking at an income statement, a balance sheet, probably throwing in a general ledger. This is what the clients are typically looking at. They're logging into their bank. They see their bank balance is $15. A couple of things to note. How is this owner going to make any decisions when we're dealing with an income statement and a balance sheet and we don't know what happened between March 31st and June 4th, because this balance sheet and income statement is not lined up with real time?
Is your head spinning yet? I say that we take a toy break. What do you think? Told you I brought this dude home.
Amanda. Oh, Amanda. Let's go.
Okay, fine, JJ. We'll go back to work.
Because actually, the most important part, and this is where I think QuickBooks is a beautiful thing, is, to me, every business could be run right on this one screen only. Okay? Now, you have the complexity of having inventory, but you have the advanced POS system that we still could really run this whole thing on this one screen. And if you look, this is just what that old pocketbook, looks like. Date, blah, 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 blah. And then you're just, is it a payment or is it a deposit? We don't have to know what your sales were in here because your POS system's giving you way more data.
Right.
What was sold, what kind, the date. I mean, like, ridiculous amount. Because even if you were trying to use this, even if we were importing the POS, it's not going to give you this data any differently than you have it there. So why duplicate it?
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of small businesses out there that they feel like they've got to put it all in one place. But, you're like me and you're like most small businesses. You're like, hey, I've got it right here, right? So you have it enough right here to go, I'm looking at my POS and I'm looking at my sales, because right now what I want to analyze is all of this stuff in my POS. It's a different analysis that you're looking at on what produces here.
Yeah.
Because now it's just up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. If you had 2, 3, 4, 5 locations, then yeah, you're going to want it all together. But the reason for that is that you have everything in multiple locations, or you now have an inventory clerk and a payable clerk and a receivable clerk.
Right.
So you need to pull all this together.
So to pull it all together, we want to have not only real time, but we need to be looking at everything that's available at your fingertips. The income statement, the balance sheet, what's going on with your bank. But what you'll notice different from the whiteboard that I had up previously is that this is an income statement through May 31st. We have a balance sheet through May 31st. We know what the activity is by just logging in to know the next 4 days. So we're able to make decisions because we know where the money came in, what expenses do we have, what is the net right now, what's our position as it relates to our assets, our liabilities. We know where we stand in the exact moment so that we are looking at everything together so that we can make a real decision knowing exactly where we are in real time with real numbers that make sense, that we don't have to say, well, wait a second, what happened between this period and this period? We'll just know, and now you're making solid decisions for your business, which typically is going to be the most important decisions that you make financially.
So anyways, what you would want to be able to see is, here's all the checks that we've written, here's our deposits, because really, this should be the balance that you want to know. And so you want to be able to make a decision if you have a stack of bills there to get paid, that you can look at them and go, okay, well, how much we got? We got 38,000. Well, I know I need to do this, and this. All right, go ahead and write those checks out, and then next Monday we'll figure out what else we're going to pay. Right. That's kind of a little bit of an old-fashioned system, but right now you don't really even have a system that I would say is useful to you.
Fair.
You have a system,
Right.
It's not useful to you. Now,
I'd agree with that 100%.
yeah. Now,
So the deal here is that it's good to have an accounting system in play clearly, but it needs to be useful. It needs to be something that you're aware of. So at Imagine That Toys, what is so impressive is that Gwen has an out of this world POS system, point of sale system, that tracks the sales and tracks the inventory in real time. And that is such a crucial part of any small business, especially one in retail, one that has a lot of inventory. So with that being said, we also are now dealing with their separate system, which is a set of QuickBooks, which is phenomenal system. Love QuickBooks. They have somebody that's coming in, but the disconnect that we have that we are going to solve is that the owners are not able to really interpret what is going on in QuickBooks. So we're solving that and simplifying it so that you have a business that has a useful, cohesive accounting system, because this is exactly what they've been looking for the last 15 years.
if you just had that, you're going to have 1,000 times more accurate numbers. Okay. Now, if you want to do where you're tracking what you owe your vendors, right? Because you were like, hey, that's a nice feature of QuickBooks. Well, it's this simple. I would have a stack of, book this as a payable, or you do it, and then we're paying this now. So the only thing that you would put into a bill, your accounts payable, is you're going to pay it next month or later.
Okay.
Okay. If you're going to pay it in the next 30 days, it should just sit in a folder to pay. Like, there's no reason to get all fancy and put something in accounts payable that you're going to pay in 3 days or tomorrow or right now.
Okay.
So you don't need a fancy system. What you need is a system that is going to work as it relates to tracking your documents and having them at your fingertips. There's no reason to have filing cabinet after filing cabinet other than to just track your documents. You want to be able to get your hands on what is making up your accounting system, expenses, and what I love about the system that I have, okay, this is just on my personal, is that it's paper, okay? If you're doing everything and it's virtual and it's PDF and it's scanning, that's great, but it needs to be useful. You need to be able to get back to it. Fanciness, okay, sometimes I think leads business owners to think that they're going to have better numbers. That doesn't mean anything. So, with Gwen and Rob and Paula and Al with their company, what I love is they have good old-fashioned paper documents and their credit card statements and their bank statements, and they can put their hands on it and we can take a look at it.
But they also have a lot of things that they can look at virtually, such as their online sales. So they have a lot at their fingertips, so very impressed with all that. I will admit to you, they have a bunch of filing cabinets, so I'm anxious to get my hands in those, see what's in there. Yes, if it's just to store documents, great, but I did have a couple of suggestions for them on how they could file things away that if they're going back and looking at them years from now, they'd be able to find it quicker and more accurately. You don't need a fancy system. You need one that works, one that you can get your hands to immediately so you know your numbers, because if you know your numbers, you know your business. So the system we're putting in play is that'll be kind of in front of you all the time with your payable report, with the way that it's scheduled, so that you can, if you need to make a maneuver or a change, right? You're knowing that in September for November. You're knowing that in October for December. You're knowing this stuff further along. Right. You're going to know your sales all day long, but of what happened. Yeah. So I just feel like with what we're trying to put together here on your financials and on your QuickBooks allows you to manage the overall business beyond just your top two lines, so that you're able to see what's coming to then maneuver. So I've talked a lot about where are you going to be in 3 weeks. This is going to tell you where you are, and then the way that you have really good systems in play. I mean, I'm just now matching up your QuickBooks to the systems you already have in play. Yeah. The way you got the Amex, the way that you're controlling your inventory, and then you've got your payroll costs, and then the fact that you got family, working in the business. Now it's like, well, what else do we need to keep an eye on? Well, it's all these other things that are coming into play in your payable. So anyways, I think with our QuickBooks adjustments and the procedures that you have, I think you're gonna have more certainty, which gives you more confidence, which leads to less stress, which leads to better decisions because you're not making them in the moment, you're making them in advance.
Yeah. I'm always open for an adventure. The toy business is an adventure in and of itself. So sometimes you take an opportunity and you rock with it. You never know what's going to come out of it. For us, when we submitted our video, we were kind of hoping for maybe a little bit of assurance on what we were doing, and maybe somebody to help us with some future planning to make sure we were doing things accurately, because I'm going to be in the business a while. So I want to make sure that I'm planning ahead accurately to support me and my family.
I think we came, we saw, and we conquered, as we saw on the way up here.
Yes, it was an amazing day.
Yes, we're here at Imagine That Toys, and then coming out of the crisis, just the value of understanding your numbers from a different angle. They have good numbers. They understand. They have a massive, spectacular grip on sales and inventory. They know that they're costs, but then it's how do you look at it from an angle of coming out of a crisis.
Hey guys, I just wanted to come out and I wanted to say thank you so much for watching our videos. It means everything to us. You guys are awesome. But I had to do the most important part because JJ's not here to do this. And so I'm gonna do it in pure JJ fashion. And CSR, if you can cue the music, don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me.
Let's go. Work, cause money never sleeps. You never met a CPA quite like me.
You never met a CPA quite like me.
Let's go.
But I just love being a CPA.
Because you're amazing.
But I do. I love the relief that I can bring in such a complicated, misunderstood subject matter. Gonna get the whiteboard. Yeehaw!
Hey guys, I just want to thank you for taking a moment out to have a hair. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you. Hey guys, I just had to pop out here and say thank you for watching the video. It means so much to JJ and I. Hey guys, I just want to come and say thank you on behalf of JJ and I both for you watching these shows and for all of the support. It really means a... We can't forget the most important scene of all, and that is you've never met a CPA quite like me. That didn't work out. Didn't work out. Do, 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 do.